Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to Plants of Politics. So California is on the verge of passing two really significant pieces of legislation, one of which takes aim at those who participate in or incite an insurrection like what we saw on January 6th. The other deals with the availability of certain types of guns. And the gun bill is a direct dig at the Texas abortion ban, the bounty hunter portion of it particularly. So here's the deal. California State Senator Scott Weiner, or Wiener, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, he introduced and successfully passed the No Tax Exemption for Insurrection Act. This passed the Senate unanimously, and so now it's headed to the Assembly for hearings. But this bill would allow for the revocation of tax-exempt status for any nonprofit that takes part in or encourages others in attempting to overthrow any state or federal government. So if a church is found to be promoting or fundraising for something like what took place on January 6th, they would no longer be eligible to raise funds tax-free. Weiner said, quote, "The people of California should not be subsidizing insurrection." I couldn't agree more. So this new bill, SB 834, states that the Franchise Tax Board could revoke the tax-exempt status if the California Attorney General finds that a California nonprofit organization, quote, actively engaged in or incited treason, misprision of treason, insurrection, seditious conspiracy, advocating overthrow of the government or the government of any state, or advocating mutiny by members of the military or naval forces of the United States. And then nonprofits located outside of California would lose the ability to fundraise in the state of California. They also give an example of why this out-of-state rule is so vital, because they say that the Oath Keepers are not located in California, but they do have a nonprofit, which they call the Educational Foundation. And the expert quoted in this article said, quote, "It can only be presumed that funds contributed to the Oath Keepers, which donors were able to deduct from their federal taxes, went to transporting and lodging members of the group slated to participate in the ensuing riots." So not only does the nonprofit group benefit from the tax exemption status of these groups, but the people who donate to these organizations are also able to write down their taxable income. So this is very necessary. And I was reminded as I was reading about this of the January 6th defendant that I've talked to you guys about, Alan Hostetter. He and his accomplice, Russell Taylor, had set up a nonprofit. You guys may recall it was called American Phoenix Project. And they used that organization to bring in funds, and then they would hold these anti-COVID lockdown events. They raised funds to protest about Trump's fairy tale about the stolen election. So that should have never been allowed. And as of now that I know of, I haven't been able to track down anything stating that the IRS is looking into this or that they've charged them with any crimes for the misuse of that nonprofit for political purposes, because you are not allowed to use a nonprofit for political purposes. So hopefully this new California law will pass. Alan Hostetter he is a California resident. I heard that he just recently sold his condo down in South Orange County. I don't know if he's moving, but I mean, he's obviously moving out of that place. I don't know if he's moving out of state, but hopefully this new law will pass and it will shore up those cracks that these people tend to fall through. Now, the next piece of legislation that I mentioned, it's moving through the system, and it's a gun bill that's styled like the Texas abortion ban. So as with the Texas abortion ban that the Supreme Court upheld, remember they allowed it to stand, this California bill doesn't outright ban guns. What it does is it allows private citizens to sue people who manufacture, sell, or distribute illegal assault weapons, ghost guns, and then they said some other various types of guns. And just as with the Texas anti-choice bill, citizens who sue would be entitled to receive at least $10,000 in civil damages per weapon. So not per defendant, not per company or the person that they are suing, but per weapon. And additional gun legislation is also moving forward in the state. There's a bill that would require school officials to report any perceived threat of a mass shooting, and they have to report that to law enforcement. So if they think that someone might be looking to perpetrate a mass shooting, they would have to, by law, report that to law enforcement. There's another bill that would ban gun shows and firearm sales on California state property. So not that they can't take place in the state, but they would not be sanctioned. They would not be allowed on property owned by California state. There's another bill that requires licensed firearm dealers to have a digital video surveillance system. They also must have an alarm, and they have to have a keyless entry system. And then that bill also requires the dealer to carry general liability insurance and to complete annual training. And then yet another bill would ban companies from advertising certain types of firearms to minors, which I can't believe is not already a law. But anyway, this just happened to come up, all of this information, but it's already been moving through the system, already been moving through government here in California. So we'll see where this all goes. But I have a feeling that Republicans are going to be really sorry that they opened up this Pandora's box in Texas. They thought that they were being so cute with their little bounty hunter law on women. You know, you reap what you sow. Anyway, guys, I will let you know as soon as I hear anything more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.